Being prepared for the winter season starts early in the fall by preparing your truck and all snow removal equipment for the first snow event. Making sure all equipment is in top condition and ready for use can save time and prevent major headaches when bad weather finally arrives. In general, preseason truck preparations should take place at least a month prior to the first anticipated snowfall. This generally lands in early to mid-September. The preseason truck inspections include detailed inspections of both mechanical systems, under the hood, and items inside or attached to the cab. Within the Iowa DOT's truck fleet, there are many different models in use. The truck you'll be checking may be different than the model you'll see in this video. However, the inspection itself is very similar for all trucks. Preseason truck inspections should only be performed after a truck has been parked inside the garage overnight. We'll be using the garage floor to help detect oil, transmission, or other fluid leaks. To begin your preseason truck inspection, do an initial walk-around of the truck, taking any note of significant damage or corrosion which may interfere with winter maintenance operations. Do a thorough inspection of each tire, checking overall wear and tread. Report any deep cuts or severe weather checking. Next, closely check the tire tread condition with a measuring device. There should be a minimum of 1/8 of an inch of tread on each of the tires, both front and rear. You'll also want to check the air pressure of each tire using a tire pressure gauge. Tires should be inflated to the pressure indicated on the side wall for the appropriate weight of the vehicle. When checking the rear tires, use a flashlight so you can see the tire sidewalls between the dualies. Next, check to see if the wheel lugs are tight. Also check the axle bolts and make sure they are tight. Look for any indication of leaking around the wheel seals. If you notice anything suspicious, mention it to your shop's mechanic. After checking the tires and wheels, turn your attention to the hydraulic system. There are a number of hydraulic valves and hundreds of feet of hydraulic hoses on either side of a standard plow truck, so take your time to check all that you can see. Check for any leaks around each hose and fitting. On most trucks, you will want to raise the box in order to get a good look at most of the hoses and fittings. Always empty the box and tanks before performing any work under a raised box. Once the box is raised, be sure to put box stops in place. Then slowly lower the box before you start your inspection. Hydraulic hoses should not be pinched, restricted, or rubbing against another surface. Point out any potential problems you see to your shop mechanic. Note that equipment vibration over time may cause hoses to shift from their original position. Check the garage floor under the truck for any fluid leaks. Hydraulic fluid is generally red in color, though sometimes may be clear to amber. Behind the truck cab, check the hydraulic oil level with the sight gauge on the reservoir tank. The tank holds approximately 30 gallons of hydraulic fluid. If the sight gauge indicates that a significant addition of fluid is required, be certain to tell the shop mechanic about it. While walking around the truck, check the tightness of all bolts and brackets to ensure they are secure and ready for the winter season. Your truck will have numerous mounting brackets or supports that are bolted to the truck to support all the various snow removal equipment. Make sure all of these bolts and brackets are in place and tight. Lights are next on your checklist. Be sure to check each set of lights for full functionality. Start with the amber warning beacons mounted above the truck cab. These lights should be on at all times when the truck is operated with a snowplow or wing, since this equipment makes the truck over width. Next, check the white and blue warning strobes, which are only used during winter maintenance operations. Additionally, check other strobe lights located at the back of the dump box. These strobes help make certain drivers can see your truck in poor visibility conditions. For your safety and the safety of all drivers, make sure all warning lights are working properly. Next, check all brake lights to ensure they activate when the brake pedal is depressed. If there is no one else around to help you, look for reflections on the garage door. Activate the headlights. Turn them on, then exit the cab to make certain both sets are working, the chassis lights and the lower headlights. Don't forget to check both high and low beams. Check turn signals, both left and right, on both the front and the rear of the truck. You can't always trust the dash indicator arrow, so be sure to exit the cab and check each turn signal for proper operation. Next, check the clearance lights of the truck. These lights mark the width of your truck for other drivers. Make sure those at the front of the cab, as well as those at the front and rear corners of the dump box, are all operating correctly. Check the spreader lights or lights located on or underneath the back of the truck box. These light up the spinner so you can see and verify the material being spread. Additionally, check any wing lights. These can be mounted behind the cab or on the wing itself. Heavy-duty wing lights are located on the wing frame. These lights shine down so you can see the wing at night. Any added lights must adhere to the lighting manual standards. Lastly, check to see that all reflectors are in place. Amber and white towards the front and red towards the rear on all four corners of the truck body. Inside the cab, start by checking the engine air restrictor on the dash. An expanding yellow area indicates that air to the engine is being restricted by a dirty air filter. Filters should be changed out before the yellow reaches the red danger mark. Next, check the automatic vehicle location or AVL device and GPS equipment are functioning properly. Ensure all cables to the modem are connected properly. Each Iowa DOT plow truck is equipped with a camera that populates various Iowa DOT driver information services. Be sure the camera is unobstructed and angled properly out the windshield. Check all other gauges and controls in the cab for proper operation. While checking the cab, make sure it is clean and that there are no loose items like cans, bottles, or log chains laying around. Check to make sure a fire extinguisher is mounted securely within the cab. Ensure that it is properly mounted and fully charged. You should also have an ice scraper, whisk broom or snow brush, a flashlight, and a first aid kit. Check the contents of the first aid kit and replace any missing or damaged items. Make sure that a CPR mask is either with or near your kit. You should also have an emergency reflector kit located either within the cab or in one of the external toolboxes. While performing the in-cab inspection, check each of the safety belts to ensure the lock works. Also check the two-way radio and make certain the display or power light comes on. Check the dash lights and all gauges to ensure that they are working properly. Now is also a good time to make sure you have accident report forms handy and ready to use. Look over the windshield for any serious pits, scratches, or cracks. Report any damage to the shop mechanic. Check the wiper blades with your fingers and make sure the wipers are working properly and effectively. Tell the mechanic if you feel they need to be replaced. Now it's time to get under the hood and make sure the engine is ready to meet the rigor of the upcoming snow removal season. Check for evidence of any leaking fuel along the fuel line and on the garage floor. You can generally identify fuel by its smell. While we are on the subject of fuel, you should know that fuel used during the winter months is typically a winter blend. Could be a 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30 blend. In each of these blends, the first number represents the percentage of number 1 diesel fuel, and the second number the percentage of number 2 diesel fuel in the blend. If you purchase your fuel locally, the retailer may or may not know the specific blend that is being sold. Number 1 diesel fuel lowers the point at which the fuel will gel and clog the engine's filters in freezing temperatures. Number 2 diesel fuel provides better lubrication and more power to the engine than number 1 diesel fuel. A pour depressant may be added to either blended or unblended fuel to keep the diesel flowing and reduce the potential of engine problems in cold temperatures. Your supervisor will provide guidance on what fuels are available and the conditions when a pour depressant additive is recommended. Engine oil is next on your preseason checklist. First, check the engine oil level with the dipstick. Add oil only if it is below the add mark. Avoid overfilling. If you find overfilling, report it to your shop mechanic. Whenever you have the dipstick out, check the color of the oil. Ensure that it is not a chocolate milky color. This could indicate antifreeze is getting into the oil. Additionally, do a quick smell test of the oil and check for a burnt smell, an indication of engine overheating. Look around the engine for any indication of oil leaks. Small amounts of oil in and around an engine are of course normal. Also look at the garage floor under the engine for any signs of leaking oil. Engine oil is normally black. The engine coolant system is next on our checklist. Check the radiator coolant level and add the required amount. If an unusually large amount of coolant is required, be sure to tell your shop mechanic. Check for coolant leaks, especially around hose connections. Look for wet spots on the radiator as well as on the garage floor. Engine coolant can be red, blue, yellow, or green. Ask your shop mechanic if you have any questions. While checking the radiator, also check for any damage to the radiator fans. Check all fan belts for any cracks or frays. If you find any fraying or cracking in the belts, point out the problem to the shop mechanic. Next, check the transmission fluid level using the dipstick. Add transmission fluid if it is below the add level. Never fill beyond the full mark. Check the garage floor for any transmission fluid leaks. Transmission fluid is typically red or brown. For the final piece of the preseason truck inspection, take a look inside the truck's toolbox. Check first for tire cables, straps, or chains. Pull them out and make sure they are in good condition. It is also a good idea to mount them in the preseason inspection to ensure that they fit and have no hidden damage. The toolbox should also contain towing straps, extra plow and wing pins, extra pin safety clips, extra shear bolts, and any other tools that you think you may need on the road. Check that you have a hand shovel mounted somewhere on the truck. These are typically located behind the cab or on the dump box. Lastly, with your truck outside the garage or with the garage doors open, be sure to check your heating and defrosting system thoroughly. Turn on your truck and activate the heater. Let the engine heat up. Then make sure all fan speeds are operational and that the heat produced by your heater and defroster is adequate. Upon completion of the preseason truck inspection, be sure to report any findings that need further attention to your shop mechanic. Your truck should now be in good shape to meet the rigors of the winter season.